our boats shot down the Iranian airliner.
So while it may have been Libyan terrorist agents that were the actual planters of the bomb, it was a subcontracting or a favor done by Gaddafi to Iran as a payback for the.
And we hear also that Iran has been buying submarines from Russia, other weapons of some kind. How much of a threat are the Iranians to us?
Iran, Iraq, and Libya are the three countries in the Middle East that are trying the hardest, that are actively out seeking nuclear technology, nuclear materials, and that have open offers on the international black market to buy any of those commodities that they can get their hands on.
And Russia happens to border
Iran area.
Iran.
That's right.
For one case, so you've got a potential boundary there if somebody really wanted to.
The former Islamic republics of the former Soviet Union border Iran, and they have empathy for Iran position like that. So all three of those are actively seeking nuclear weapons.
And what about somebody like Zhirinovsky, the ultra-nationalist Russian who's crazy by almost anybody's definition of the word? What would he, I mean, he probably wouldn't mind seeing something like this happen either, would he?
Well, I don't know that. I think that Zhirinovsky is not quite as crazy as he appears to be. He's sort of crazy like a fox in the sense of getting himself notoriety. At least everybody knows who he is, etc. And I feel comfortable that the hierarchy that exists in Russia has enough checks and balances that there wouldn't be an official policy coming out of Russia, even if Zhirinovsky was
not official, but I mean unofficial, where you've got a situation where there's so much chaos that if somebody just happened to lose one of these
the main thing I fear from Russia is the economic lure, not the political intent. In other words, the economic lure is just so great that somebody's going to sell the stuff. And they've already tried.
What's the average Russian pay for a general or a private over there? What, $30 a month, something like that?
And the military, when they're paid. So and the military hasn't been paid regularly.
So you're not talking about a huge amount of money to get somebody's attention.
That's right. You know, one of the things that we've done with a lot of our aid money is that we've tried to, in essence, bribe ex-Soviet military technicians not to share their knowledge. We are paying salaries of $75,000 to $100,000, and I say we, American aid money is paying Russian nuclear weapons technicians and scientists large Western-sized salaries to keep them at home so they don't want to immigrate and sell their
to go to Iraq or Iran or one of these other renegade countries. But that still doesn't control all these weapons that are already laying around.
No, that's right.
You know, scattered even in the republics that are no longer under Russian control, except for the shipment. I guess recently we bought a huge amount of plutonium from Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
But how much of that? How much did they really take out of inventory by making that deal?
Well, again,
lots of money.
Yeah. Most of the tactical nuclear weapons, the small ones that are warheads, and again, it's the warheads that I'm most concerned about, not the material, because once they get the material, they still have a lot of problems to solve before it can be a threat to us. But most of the tactical warheads have already been transferred to Russia, and they are in Russian control, the tactical warheads, because they were with the Russian military forces that were mobile and they could take. Kazakhstan, the Ukraine, and Belarus all had strategic silos, and therefore they retained those strategic nuclear weapons. And it's that strategic materials, it's materials from the strategic weapons that we're buying from Kazakhstan, for example.
So in many ways, would you say we have a greater threat not from a missile attack, which, you know, you've got computers, you know they're coming in, except we don't even turn our radar on anymore, do we, to track intercontinental launched missiles?
Yeah, we still have it at NORAD. We still are monitoring, but it is not the same degree of sensitivity as it was before. And we don't have any of our alternate command posts, for example, flying as we used to.
Flying the headquarters that would take over.
We used to have something called NECAP, National Emergency Command Post.
But if this came in the way of a ground attack, then all of that apparatus wouldn't even come into play, would it?
That's right. No, not at all.
Are there any kind of sensors that would detect a nuclear warhead in our capital? Or I would say that, you know, Houston or Chicago less of a target really than a place like Washington. So what can you do about it?
Well, I don't know, Michael, frankly, what type of precautions, and if I did know, I wouldn't tell too much about it. But it would seem to me that it's not airtight, whatever it is. If we can get bundles of marijuana across this border, if we can get kilos of cocaine into this country, you can get kilos of nuclear materials.
It wouldn't be hard to
because this
fly in a bomb.
That's right. This device that we're talking about could weigh about 10 or 12 pounds. That's all you need for a 3 or 4 kiloton type weapon.
But what you're also saying is that it would take some cooperation between some international criminal elements to really pull this thing off.
That's true.
It would, somebody with money, somebody with revenge, several people with motives.
I would imagine this is a very, very high priority on our intelligence collection services, and the best of our intelligence information and effort is directed towards tracking these kinds of materials, and that's probably our best defense right now.
But the Russians keep saying they know where all their materials are, but they keep showing up in Germany.
Yes, that's right. But what I'm saying is we probably have people that are at Yasser Arafat's dinner parties every evening that are on the American payroll, that are telling us what's going on in that community. And if we don't, the Israelis do.
But even if you knew about it, finding it and trying to prevent it would be, it would be like putting a suitcase bomb somewhere, which happens all the time in London, to the IRA, that type of situation.
That's right.
Are we getting to a point with the nuclear age where that's going to be the next thing? I mean, we've seen terrorism on a, you know, for years and years and years, but is this going to be the ultimate? And if so, what, banning all tactical warheads, would that be a potential solution? Or?
No, it wouldn't be a solution, because once it's out of the box, it's out of the box. I mean, you can ban all you want, and the North Koreans can still produce a tactical warhead. The technology is there. They know how to do it. And just because, I mean, they're signatories to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Pact. Iraq is a signatory to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. And yet they're still actively developing nuclear weapons. So. You know,
yeah, there was just an article today about Saddam. They found some more weapons that had been hidden away that he was supposed to have already turned over. I think it was a Chinese-made radar system. And so...
you know, I think the best defense is that what we've got to understand is that we're in this new world where the old world of, if you had a greater size of a military, if you had a stronger economy, you could bully or push around people without any regard to their dignity, without any regard to their own aspirations. That world is changing. You're going to have to be a little bit more diplomatic.
So we can't just go in and bully anybody anymore without worrying about consequences?
That's right. There's two types of power, international power. One is the power that's based on strong resources where you can come in and just force people to do what you want them to do. There's another type of power where you use charisma, you use your expertise, you use your moral suasion and capability to convince them that that it's in their best interest. And that's what we need to rely on.
Thank you, Dr. Hatchett, for being with us. Tune in next week when we talk about another international issue that may affect your life. Thank you very much.